Right now, the United States Senate operates on a razor's edge. With partisan margins tighter than they've been in decades, the chamber only functions when every single senator is physically in the room to cast a vote. In this environment, confirming federal judges or passing defense spending isn't guaranteed. It requires a perfect turnout. If one side is missing even a single member, the entire legislative process can grind to a halt. That math is about to be tested. The Senate is currently on its July 4th recess, but a massive backlog of high-stakes legislation is waiting for them the moment they gavel back into session. And that brings us to the empty desk of Mitch McConnell. As the longest-serving party leader in history, his presence is the glue for the Republican voting bloc. With his return date unknown, his absence creates a gap in the line that could derail the summer's entire legislative agenda. To understand the concern, we have to look at June 14th. The official word from McConnell's office was sparse. He had been admitted to a hospital for an unspecified issue and was receiving excellent care. The public relations strategy focused on stability. Spokespeople claimed the senator was improving and remained fully engaged with his staff on Kentucky business. But that polished narrative was soon contradicted by leaked emergency audio. The dispatch recording described paramedics responding to McConnell's home for a patient found unconscious. The scanner traffic grew more urgent, with responders reporting cardiac arrest and confirming that CPR was already in progress. There is a massive gulf between a routine hospitalization and an 84-year-old man requiring life-saving chest compressions. The contrast suggests that while the public was told he was recovering, the reality was a life-or-death emergency. This collapse was the culmination of a physical decline that has been visible to anyone watching the Senate over the last several years. It began in earnest in March 2023, when a fall at a Washington hotel left him with a serious concussion and fractured ribs, forcing him away from the Senate for 6 weeks. Then came the freezing episodes. Twice in the summer of 2023, McConnell went entirely blank mid-sentence during press conferences, staring ahead for 20 seconds until aides stepped in to lead him away. Shortly after, he began regularly relying on a wheelchair to navigate the long corridors of the Capitol complex. Earlier this year, in February, he was hospitalized again, this time for over a week with what were described as severe flu-like symptoms. This pattern of repeated injuries has changed the conversation in Washington. This latest hospital stay is no longer being viewed as a one-off event, but as a sign that the physical demands of the office may have finally outpaced his ability to recover. When the recess ends, the Senate faces a practical problem. McConnell's committees and the Republican conference will lack a crucial tie-breaking vote on the floor. If a senator resigns, this flowchart shows Kentucky's legal path. A vacancy triggers a special election, guaranteeing the seat remains Republican. But because McConnell remains in office, this process is locked. It cannot be used without a formal vacancy. This creates a legislative limbo. You have a lawmaker who may be too incapacitated to vote, but legally too present to be replaced. His seat remains occupied, but its power is effectively frozen. This isn't an isolated incident. McConnell's absence is the most prominent example of a demographic shift affecting the entire federal government. This chart shows the sharp climb in the share of octogenarians serving in Congress over the last decade, many of whom hold the deciding votes in narrow-margin chambers. It forces a difficult question about the tension between a public official's right to medical privacy and the public's right to active representation. In a Senate where a single vote can decide the law of the land, a representative's medical status becomes a matter of governance. If a seat is occupied but cannot be used to vote, the legislative process itself begins to stall.